The platform offers integration capabilities with various external systems, such as CRM or other services with open APIs. This video delves into integrating a bot with a weather service. Similarly, the bot can be integrated with CRM systems. The first step is to create an external request. This is a functionality enabling the agent to access external systems via API. Using external requests, we will send data to the weather service and receive the information required for the script. Register with the weather service. This service allows you to make up to 1000 API calls per day for free. We need two requests. The first request enables the retrieval of city coordinates, and the second one facilitates weather retrieval based on location coordinates. To create your first external request, go to the Resources tab by clicking Resources on the upper panel. Go to the section with external requests. Create a new external request by clicking the Create New button. Name the request Weather. Keep the request method as GET and input the following string in the endpoint field. This format is used to specify user context variables in this field. User context variables are variables that are created and modified by the platform user in certain areas of the script and are always available for editing in the script. Later, we will create this context variable in our agent script. In the platform, there is a limit on the size of the received body in response to an external request. If the body exceeds the limit, then the raw response variable, which contains the external system's response to the external request, records not the response but the error text. To get the response text, you need to configure its parsing by writing it to the user context variables on the Response tab. To do this, go to the Response tab designated for parsing the response to a request and input result in the variable field and the following string in the value field. This way, the entire response body will be stored in the result variable and will be available for use in the agent script. Save the request by clicking the Create button. Create another external request by clicking the Create New button. Name the request Weather2. Keep the request method as GET and input the following string in the endpoint field. Later, we will also create this context variable in our agent script. Go to the Response tab and input result2 in the variable field and the following string in the value field to save the entire response body in the result2 variable and use it in the agent script. Save the request by clicking the Create button. The external requests are ready. Now you need to create the agent and its script. Create a new agent and go to its bot builder. After the Start slot, create a text slot with the following text. Next, add the Yes and No buttons. After the No button, add a text slot with the following text. After it, add a Wait for Reaction slot. After the Fallback subslot, add a text slot with the following text. And a Jump slot with transition back to the button menu. After the Yes button, add a text slot with the following text and a Wait for Reaction slot. Next, add a memory slot. This slot enables you to write data to user context variables. Name the slot. In this memory slot, the endpoint for the first of our external requests will be compiled. The URL format for the first request looks like this. We need to compose a URL by substituting the name of the city entered by the bot user and your personal API key. Find your API key by going back to the weather service, opening Account Settings, and selecting the API Keys section. Copy the value from the key field. Enter the URL value in the key field and the following string in the value field, where API key is the key from the previous step, and client message is the context variable which contains the bot user's message. In the memory slot, the context variable intended for substitution must be specified in the particular format. It needs to be enclosed with double curly quotes. In this way, the URL for the first request will be compiled and stored in the URL context variable. which we previously specified in the external request as the endpoint. Save the slot. After the memory slot, add an external request slot. It will be used to integrate with the weather service. Give it the name, and in the request field, select external request called weather. If the bot user specifies a non-existent city name, we will receive an empty response from the weather service. So the context variable raw response will have the value of an empty array. We will use this in the script to prompt the bot user to enter a different name. To do this, add a transition rule slot after the external request slot. It enables agent script branching depending on the specified conditions. When creating a transition rule, 2 condition subslots are automatically generated. If a condition is true, the agent will proceed to the script branch following this condition subslot. We need to check whether the value of the context variable raw response equals an empty array. Open the main subslot and enter the following string in the condition field. Then clear the name field so that the expression from the condition field will be displayed in the script tree on the condition subslot. After this subslot, add a text slot with the following text. Next, add a jump slot with a transition to the wait for reaction slot, where the agent waits for the user to enter the name of the city. If the city is found in the weather service, a response will look like this. After the fallback condition subslot, add a memory slot to extract the coordinates of the city from the response received from the service. Give slot a name, enter the following values in the key and in the value field. Add another key value pair by clicking Add New Field. Enter the following values in the key and in the value field. This is how the first element of the result array and the variables contained in it are accessed, the latitude and longitude values. In the same slot, we can collect the endpoint for the second external request. The URL format for the second request looks like this. We need to compose a URL by substituting the coordinates of the city entered by the bot user and our personal API key. Add another key value pair. Enter the following values in the key and in the value field, where API key is the key from the weather service, and let and lon are coordinate variables. This will compose the URL for the second request and store it in the URL2 context variable, which we previously specified in the external request as the endpoint. Next, create an external request slot, give it a name, and select the weather2 external request in it. In response to this request, we expect to receive a response in the following format. The response has a dictionary data format. The agent will display temperature data to the bot user. To do this, add a memory slot after the external request slot. Give the slot a name and let's save the value of the main element into a variable. Enter the following values in the key and in the value field. The service response is contained in the result2 variable, which has the format of a dictionary. A dictionary element is accessed through square brackets, indicating the name of the element. Next, let's save the values of the actual and felt air temperature. To do this, add 2 more key value pairs. In the key fields, enter the following values, and in the value fields, enter the following strings. Since the service returns temperature data in degrees Kelvin, let's convert them to degrees Celsius. To do this, add 2 more key value pairs. In the key fields, enter the following values, and in the value fields, input the following values. After the memory slot, add a text slot with the following text. In this text, agent will display the following information: the name of the city stored in the client message variable, the temperature stored in the temperature variable, and what it feels like in the feels like variable. Next, add a jump slot with a transition to the button menu. This concludes the creation of the agent script. You should now have the following script. After creating the agent script, you need to train the agent and test its script. To train the agent, click the Train button located in the upper right corner of Bot Builder. It will initiate the script validation process. The requirements for successful agent training are available in the article linked in the description of this video. If the script meets the requirements, the agent will be trained. Otherwise, the script validation will fail and an error text will appear in the lower right corner. If errors are detected in the script, identify problem areas using the guidelines in this article and fix the errors. After this, train the agent again. After successful agent training, open the debug widget by clicking the debug button. In the debug widget, send a message to the agent to start the script. Communicate with the agent going through all the steps of the script, while checking that there are no errors in the text and the logic of the script is correct. If you find errors, fix them, remembering to retrain the agent after each change so that it takes effect. If everything is correct, congratulations, your agent is ready.